Please note that any opinion expressed on this show is my own opinion and does not reflect the opinion of my employer or any organization that I'm associated with or affiliated with for that matter.
One point in time, society would make you feel guilty. You realize that guilt is more so a response to you not doing something that society or somebody else said that you weren't supposed to do.
Hey, kings and queens and everything in between. Welcome to this episode of A Sip with Samad podcast. And I'm your host, Samad. Let's jump in.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the A Sip with Samad podcast. I didn't open up with a song this episode. As you all may be able to hear, the allergies got me, y'all. They got me. My eyes are swollen. They're red. My sinuses are all congested. I know y'all don't care, but the only thing I can probably sing right now is Old Man River. And so for the one person who is interested, Old Man River, that old man river, he must know something. But don't say nothing. He just keeps rolling. He keeps on rolling along. Ooh, that was a lot. When you can't breathe through your nose, it's just a lot. So be happy you got that because you almost didn't get anything. But no, welcome back. I'm really, really excited to have you all here with me. What happened since we talked last week? Before we jump into all of that, I'm rocking another HBCU. The Albany State University here in Georgia is a public HBCU. The folks, well, I make fun of them and I don't know if they like it or not, but I usually say Albany because that's how the people, or at least how I hear the people from Albany say Albany. So Albany State University. This is so rich. So rich. But no, another HBCU. Check it out if you don't know about it. I'm going to keep trying to bring you all a different one in the future episodes. But, you know, I got to figure out what I'm going to do because it's starting to get warm, too warm for sweatshirts. So I'll figure something out. Look, I'm tired. It's been a long, rough week and I am at the brink of my vacation. Technically, I am on vacation. My away message at work has been on for the last day. It's been a long week. And so I couldn't think of no drink. And I'm still working on trying to secure a bartender friend to come to the show. So for all my bartenders out there who just, want to have a conversation or join the show, if you're serious, like a mixologist, I'm not talking about somebody who just gonna make me a Hennessy and Coke. Because I don't even drink that. I mean, I do in certain ethnic situations, but I don't even drink that like that. It's too sweet. I'm drinking Prosecco today. I'm drinking La Marca because I just didn't want to think about it. Not right now. All right. It's as refreshing as it normally is. So let's see what happened since we last chatted with y'all. I'm listening. Oh, you wanted to hear what I had to say. So since we last chatted, I had a chance to go out and hang out with one of my frat brothers. We went out, grabbed drinks at I think it's a bourbon distillery. It was called ASW Distillery. Apparently, it's an award-crafted distillery based on the west side of Atlanta. So right up by Morehouse, actually, on the west side. It was pretty cool. The Old Fashions were great. I had a chance to test those out. And I also tried this drink that I make in the summertime. It's called the Tiger Woods. I named it. So if you hear somebody out in the street saying, "Ooh, give me the Tiger Woods," that was me. Okay. And so a Tiger Woods is lemon juice. I like to use my fresh lemon juice. It is some simple syrup, which is nothing more for those who don't know. It's just sugar and water mixed together. It is also bourbon, whatever bourbon of your choice. And so I call it that because Arnold Palmer, which is lemonade and sweet tea, is kind of the same thing. You're mixing a brown with a lemonade. And so I was like, oh, well, what's famous black? His father's name was Earl, a black golfer that we can name it after. And I was like, oh, Tiger Woods. So you can try that drink. They actually liked it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was on the menu there as well. But we had drinks there. We had a chance to talk. I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest grandchild. I am the oldest son. And so I've always longed to have like a brother or an older sibling. And I have an older sibling on my father's side, but as I mentioned in the previous show, I don't know who the hell they are. So, it was so good to just hang out with my frat brother, Al, and just talk about life and him sharing in the excitement of us having so many ideas on what to do. I mean, he went to his project management bag, and the next thing you know, we done planned a baby shower, a sip and see, a frat shower, everything underneath the sun. And so it was really good. Something that I didn't know I needed. And so I'm happy that he was able to be there and we were able to drink some drinks, talk about life, talk about just all the nonsense that we experience in our lives, all of it in a sitting. So I welcome those sorts of opportunities, especially because I think I mentioned in a previous episode, my friend circles have been real questionable lately. Some of them, the consistent ones are the consistent ones, but I think ones that we thought were the main kind of just I guess the relationship dissipated. And that happens. We talked about that in season 1, Fair Weather Friends, go catch it. And so, but it was needed. It was very much needed to just be with somebody other than the person that you're with that genuinely shows a caring interest in your life, what you're going through, giving big brotherly advice. It's very important. It was more important than I noted. And I also reconnected with another friend. So while my friendship circles are kind of in an interesting place, I also think that they are, what's happening to them is happening to them. And I imagine that when we have children, our friendship circles and dynamics will shift a bit as well. Because, people don't want to hang out with you when you have kids. They don't. I do. Now, what's also interesting about that is when I had friends who had children and I didn't, I would always say like, hey, let me come over. I can come over. And they would be like, oh, no, the girls or something like that. It was always something like, I can just come over. We can hang out there, just to see your face. And so they would always say no. And then they never asked me to babysit. And I used to feel some type of way about that. But I kind of let it go because it wasn't really my problem. But yeah, I wonder why those friends who did have children never considered me for babysitting, never considered me for hanging out with them with their children. Like I have some friends in DC, Don and Paul, and I remember when they got their son, the youngest son, and they used to call me up and be like, hey, we going to the park. And I'm like, bet, I'm ready. Because I really do get excited about going out and hanging out with them and hanging out with them with their child. That's what friendships are about. It just doesn't change or stop when somebody has a kid. But like I said, my hetero friends, and I'm not generalizing, I'm just telling you my experience, they were more, I guess, less likely to invite you out into those spaces. And I wonder why. I could always come up with some reasons why, but I do wonder why, because what I'm thinking ain't good. And I don't want to think that, because that can't be it. No, it can't be it. So, and we don't have enough data on the gay side to really give you I just know that my two friends who are same gender loving and who do have a child invited me out to the park. That's all I got. So I don't know how I got there. Oh, I was talking about me going out for drinks. The other thing that happened this past week, so I'm not saying where I work, but I work at an organization and my team was here in Atlanta since Monday. And so I actually hosted folks from my immediate team at my house for happy hour, had a great time. I was too zealous with the spread. I ain't even gonna lie. I just, my rule when you host is that y'all can say I ran out of a lot of things, but you're not going to say you came to my house and we ran out of food. So I got food and I know my team and their dietary habits. And so one colleague is gluten-free. And then I looked around, I was like, oh shit, I don't know if I have anything that's gluten-free. Another colleague, is celebrating Ramadan. So I need to be mindful of that. What they like in terms of eating. I know one likes shrimp. The other one likes meatballs. And of course, I put together my locally famous baked mac and cheese. Takia said it was a nice white woman mac and cheese, but it tastes black. It would look white on the outside, but it tastes black. It was good. I actually cook it in the grill I have an egg. And so if you want to get your mac and cheese to have like a nice smoky taste, put it on the grill. Oh, it gets a little toasty. Oh, it's so good. It's something still upstairs. I'm about to go get me some. But no, did that. We actually got on the piano. So I played a bit. We all sang, laughed, joked. One of my other colleagues got my guitar. Yes, I have a guitar because I'm trying to teach myself again how to play the guitar. And he played the bluegrass song about Mountain Dew. Funny thing is, my manager was actually recording and he was like, oh, I'm going to sing a song about Mountain Dew. And in the background, you hear my ass. You know, Black people love Mountain Dew. I wasn't lying. Does anybody remember back in the day when they used to tell boys not to drink Mountain Dew because it lowered your sperm count? Like, I can remember as a kid, they were saying, oh, no, you're not supposed to drink Mountain Dew because that's going to lower your sperm count. Now, as a kid, I'm 12. But even if I was 7, I don't know nothing about what you're talking about. So, but yeah, I wonder if anybody else heard that. They used to say that to us all the time. Don't drink Mountain Dew. It lowered your sperm count. I don't know. I don't drink Mountain Dew, partly because they said it lowered your sperm count, but also because I grew up in a Pepsi family. And while Mountain Dew came in the case, I probably more than likely avoided it sometimes. If we got that mixed case, back to my story. It's the allergy drugs, y'all. My colleagues came here. We were in sessions. We connected with partners down at the AUC. It was really, really great to be back down at the AUC. Very nostalgic. I haven't been back there in a long time. So, I mean, outside of homecoming, I haven't really walked the campus. And so it was just really good being amongst the campuses. We were at Club Woody, aka Woodruff Library. I was more of a Douglas Hall person. I stayed in Douglas Hall to study, but a lot of people went to Club Woody. It was too distracting for me. Anyhow, we had our meetings in Club Woody, and then we went and they toured the campus. I just took a walk around the campus to just take it in. And I walked on Spelman's campus, walked on Morehouse campus, and some of Clark Atlanta's campus. It was great. I mean, the Morehouse campus, I kind of relived the walk that you had to do when you graduated. And so for those who are not familiar, on Morehouse campus, there's King Chapel. And so on graduation day, you meet at King Chapel at the crack of dawn. And once you get to King Chapel, you sit there and wait until they line us up. And then you start hearing the African drums. After you hear the African drums, you start walking out of the chapel, and we have our stoles and our cords and everything on us. And we are, in front of the chapel, there's a huge statue of Martin Luther King Jr., alumni of Morehouse, also a member of Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And he's pointing us in a direction. And so we're walking in that direction, and you just hear these African drums playing. These African drums are just going. And then we start walking through a procession of all the faculty and staff and administrators at the institution, or the ones that's not on the dais already. But we start walking through, and then we get to the Graves Hall, which is the oldest building on Morehouse's campus, pay homage. And you walk past the gravesite of Benjamin Elijah Mays, former president of Morehouse, mentor to Martin Luther King, and his wife, Sadie. And you're sitting, like, you walk past them paying homage, and you just look forward, and it's this green, magical experience waiting for you. Like, it was just like, this is the rest of my damn life. And so I kind of took that walk just to kind of remind myself that the work is not done. But it was also good to get the energy from the students who are on the campuses. I felt like a succubus. I was like, oh, new students, younger, let me get some energy, because it was just, without even engaging or saying anything, like those brilliant minds, you can just feel it. You can feel these are the people who will be hopefully changing the world in the future. Speaking of changing the world in the future, so in a couple weeks after I get back from Columbia, I actually have the privilege to do the keynote at the now Wiley University, and I am nervous as hell. I'm like, what the hell am I going to say to these kids or young adults or young scholars, brilliant minds? And y'all wish me luck. You will see how it goes. So the problem is that I don't do well reading from a script. I'm more of a free flow talker, as you all can see. You all know, y'all tell me when y'all can see I'm reading from a script and when I'm just free flow talking. And so I just don't want them to see me reading from a script, because why? Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. Let's jump in. That's kind of my approach. So we'll see. Maybe I'll take a middle ground and be a little scholarly yet approachable. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, colleagues were here. Didn't have much time to do much. Allergies have been kicking my butt severely. And we're about to start packing to go to Colombia. So we're going to spend some time with the surrogate, and we're going to just max and relax a bit. So excited. Excited. All right, let's move forward. That was enough. So let's see. There were a couple questions that came up this week, and and these are questions that people may have asked me that I was intrigued by, but it could have also been just some thoughts and feelings I have. So I'm going to talk about something. we're going to keep it real with each other. Okay. So how do we feel about lending friends money? Now, I don't typically lend money, right? But this is something that's on my heart. And so the friend that's listening, okay, I hope you listen. I grew up not, like my godfather, Rodney, would say, hold on, I'm trying to see if that's my money coming in while I'm talking. If it's not, then I'm going to keep with this story. But if it is, we can move on. Nope, I still don't see the money. Hold on, let me just make sure. You don't want to, nope, not at all. All right. So we keep going. So no, I don't typically lend money. I don't believe in the idea of lending money. I actually believe that if you lend someone money, you should always expect never get it back. And, however, when I was growing up, I can remember going to Rodney and I would ask him for $20, and I would probably say something along the lines of, can I borrow $20? And he would look at me. It was never easy. Me asking him for money was never the easiest thing. And so that's why I don't like asking people for money now. And so he would say, probably while smoking a cigarette and looking at the computer, are you asking me to lend you $20? Or are you asking, like, is this a loan? Or are you asking me to give it to you? And it took me a while, as a kid, like I said, he's done this probably all of my life. And so when I was a kid, I was like, oh, loan. And he was like, he's like, okay. And so once I got older and I realized the difference between loaning and giving, I was like, no, give. Because I used to say loan, and he would say, okay, because if I loan you this money, that means I'm going to want my money back. And if you can't give me my money back, then that means somebody getting their ass whooped. He was like, and this is something he's probably really proud right now that I remember that. I just want to say, and he's probably going to come back and say, you didn't quote it the right way. I'm paraphrasing. That was how, Lord knows how many years ago. But no, I still do that. I do that now. And so I had a friend that asked me for some money, and, they were in a bind, and I did loan it under the premise that there's a possibility, Samad, that you won't get it back. But I did also say to said friend that, hey, if you don't give it back, this will tarnish our friendship. So here I am. Friend said, hey, I'll get it back to you by next week on, I think it was like a Wednesday. I was like, bet, a week sounds reasonable, because, you start going into that 2-week territory, you ain't going to get your money back. So you give people short deadlines when you loan money. I was just like, bet, I can do that. Wednesday came around and there was an issue. I'm like, okay, well, when is this going to get fixed? And he's like, oh, very apologetic. Like, oh, I just, I'm working on it. I'm processing, I'm doing some things. I'm moving some stuff around so I can get you your coin. I'm like, bet. Thursday comes, nothing. Friday comes. Hey, so what's going on? That's when I'm sitting like the side eye emojis at this point. And I'm like, well, what's going on? And friend is like, oh, I deposited a check and this is what happened. And I was like, okay, cool. So when you think you're going to be able to get my money? Oh, I'll be able to get it to you by early next week. All right, bet. Once again, a short deadline. Monday comes. Oh, I'm still working on it. It still hasn't processed. If it doesn't process by Monday, I'll give it to you by Wednesday when I get paid. Okay. Wednesday. I'll get it to you by Thursday night. I'm like, Thursday night? Like, okay. Friday. Haven't heard nothing. Still don't have my money. And so once again, I said earlier, and I continue to say that I give with the idea that I will not get it back. But it is my hope that you do give it back, because if you don't, now I don't like you. I don't trust you. You can't ever get nothing from me ever again. Don't even think that we going out to dinner and I'm paying for the bill until I get my money back. I'm that petty and I don't care. So, I'm just trying to process. This is why I don't loan. And I also think that, especially given everything that is going on, baby coming and stuff like that, your friends are supposed to be the ones that's not adding stress to your life. Now, I probably wouldn't be talking about this if it was like $50. That gives you context. It's not $50. So do y'all loan people money? Because here's the thing. I feel like in the past, I have given people, but there's never anybody there to give to me when I need it. And maybe they are there, right? Maybe they are there. I just can't ask. Like, I remember one time my brother hit me up and I was like, you always asking me for money. I'm giving like the lecture, like the older brother lecture. You always asking me for money, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going in. And he was like, oh, but if I had it, I would give it to you. I was like, the problem is you never have it. So I can't ever ask you for it, right? And so that's what I mean by, like, people kind of see you sometimes and they think that, oh, you could spare, $1,000. You can spare this. You can spare that. Like, I seriously think one of my relatives, I'm not going to say how they're related, hasn't talked to me for the past, maybe 6 months, because I didn't co-sign on a apartment with them. So how do we manage this, right? Because I think that, especially, like, we hear so many stories, and by all means, I'm not saying I am like Barack and Michelle Obama, but I aspire to be. So I don't have it all. But I do think that friends and sometimes family may see that you do have it all. But the fact of the matter is, I just manage my coin because I like to live a certain lifestyle. And my coin management does not include you or anybody else in it. Like, I don't have a budget for people who are in a bind. I loan it knowing I may not get it, but that wasn't for you. It was for me. And so I have a friend. She's always like, have grace. Have grace. And I'm like, girl, that's your ethos. That's not my ethos. My ethos is where's my goddamn money? Because, and I don't want to be that goon. I don't want to, y'all gonna have my Patterson come out of me. My eyes are so puffy from my allergies, Lord. Ooh, I'm glad y'all getting this show, because y'all get to see me at a low point, at a very low point. People owe me money, bad allergies. Jeez. But yeah, so I'd be interested. So this kind of feeds in or weaves in a little bit. I was talking to one of my good friends, best friends, Mike, and Mike was like, in church, Bible study was about guilt and how you never should feel guilty. And I thought that was interesting. So I started to think about my own life, right? And I'm not saying I've lived a life guilt-free, but I definitely tell you that it's not hanging around me. It's not stopping me from going forward, and doing what I want to do. I think I kind of agree with this, and I would love to see how they paired it with the Bible, which I'm not a biblical scholar, so I cannot tell you what verse talks about not feeling guilty. Because if you really ask me, I feel like the whole Bible is meant to make you feel guilty. But that's neither here nor there. But no, I tend to navigate life in making choices, informed choices, or as informed as I can be. And in certain instances, I get it wrong. I make the wrong mistake. I make a bad choice. My hand is somewhere it's not supposed to be. But I don't feel guilty about it. I don't feel guilty about it. I think maybe sometimes there might be a little embarrassment. Maybe sometimes there might be a little, I don't know, maybe embarrassment, but I look at it as learning. Like, I'm not guilty. I actually probably had fun doing something I wasn't supposed to do, or what somebody told me I wasn't supposed to do. And I enjoyed myself. And so do I feel guilty about it? No. Do I feel guilty that I like to drink this Lamarca? No. Oh, this is a deep one. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. This is a good one. I like this. I don't know. There isn't guilt, but I think there is question. You should always question, but never feel guilty. Because I think guilt is like shame and like you did something bad. But I think that if you question, It's more about, well, why do I like Lamarca? Why do I drink a whole bottle of Lamarca? Well, because they only put but so much inside. Why do I like to wear form-fitting pants? Because at one point in time, society would make you feel guilty. You realize that guilt is more so a response to you not doing something that society or somebody else said that you weren't supposed to do. That's all it is. So hell no. I don't think I feel guilty. Like, I don't feel guilty about telling this story about my money. It's the truth. It's my lived experience. I'm sharing it with you. And I'm processing out loud why I ain't got my coin yet. Period. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think you should. I think you should learn. And if you do experience guilt, it should be for a small amount of time. Now, if you go and do it again, that means that you actually didn't feel guilty. You felt bad because you did something that somebody told you you weren't supposed to do. Sleep in that. Let me know what you think about that, because this is I'm interested. I wish somebody was actually here right now to tell me what they think. So, but yeah, that's an interesting question. Thank you for that question, Mike. I really, really appreciate it. The next thing that it actually happened this week, and so I am a little sensitive to this because my colleagues be listening, even though I told them not to. I told them that this podcast was not safe for work. However, yet and still, they decided that they wanted to watch or listen. Now I done told them that it's a video. They're going to find it. But no, there was an incident that happened when we were at the AUC, and white people be whiting. And there was a colleague who I think has just sometimes is aloof to cultural things or certain microaggressions that they may exhibit. They're very direct. And on a number of occasions, this particular colleague pointed out that she thought that, I was trying to be gender neutral. Damn it. Well, now you know. This particular colleague said that they thought one of the keynotes or the leaders that we had to come in and talk to us was articulate, a Black woman who is president and CEO of a national organization. And you thought that it was appropriate to call out the fact that you think that she's articulate. Then there was another instance where this particular colleague was talking to a student and was just so impressed by the fact that they were articulate. In this instance, they did it in front of a group of my other Black colleagues who were sitting there at the table, and we all caught it. And in my head, I'm trying to figure out, let me tell you why it wasn't right, right? It wasn't right because when you say that, while you think that you're praising the individual, what you're also saying is that the other Black people that you see aren't as articulate. So this is something I don't normally see. I don't see an articulate Black man. I never see an articulate Black woman. And then I was like, well, do I just go around and start just calling white people articulate just because? So that's why you don't do it, right? Because why do you seem so in awe? Or as my friend Takia would say, why is your muffin top pulled back? Because of the fact that you just experienced an articulate Black person. That's why it's wrong. That's why you shouldn't do it. Because it's coming from a place, and I don't think that it came from a place of racism. I don't think so. Knowing this particular colleague, I don't think so. But the question that we all had was, how do you even address some shit like this? And is it on us to address it in those particular spaces? When is the appropriate time to pull a white colleague aside and say, hey, what you don't do is you don't go around and you tell random Black people that they sound articulate if you like the way they talk? The number of people who said that to me, I was offended because it was less about the compliment for me, but more so more of a view of how you view my people. I don't know if I should, why do I have to be the teacher? I guess is the question I have. And I guess the answer I have for myself is, because who else gonna do it? But I'm also sensitive to the fact that I don't have the freedom to be as direct as I would like to be, especially to white women colleagues sometimes. I feel like once crying happens, HR comes in, next thing you know, I'm looking like Sophia in The Color Purple telling you to get my kids because yeah, we have trauma with a certain group of people. And sometimes it makes it challenging for us to even check you. And you're probably sitting there saying, I wonder why nobody's told me that was like the colleague might be listening. And so you might be saying, well, why didn't nobody tell me that? Well, because we're not in a position sometimes to be able to tell you that without fear of repercussions. That's why we couldn't tell you that. We couldn't tell you that in the moment. And by the time it passes, it's kind of too late. So for all my white people listening, don't do that, please. Like, you heard it here. It wasn't a teachable moment, but I'm sharing with you that that's just something that you don't do. And I can't tell you all the things that you should not do to Black people, but be aware, be mindful, be a critical thinker. How many people walk up to you as a white man or woman and say to you, you are so articulate? That's like saying, ooh, you so clean. You want to be my mate. So that really bothered me. That grinded my gears. Anyhow, switching gears, I just wanted to express how thankful I am for the folks who continue to follow. I think, and this is without me checking, I'm going to look real quick just to make sure. So I don't know how this is happening, but since we last talked, we've made, it's a big number to me, so I don't care. All the professional folks who are on YouTube and stuff, we're at 4K subscribers. And so I'm so happy about that. That means that maybe I'm saying something. And for the shady person who left something in the comments, so I do read the comments, even though I'm not supposed to, but I also do respond when you sound ignorant sometimes. And so if you do leave a comment and you didn't even watch the show, you may have seen a clip and then watch the show. And then you say, well, then that's why I didn't watch this shit. Well, girl, then why do you respond? If you would have watched, you might have learned that what you thought wasn't what you thought. So yeah, it's interesting. And I know this is all a mode of communication. People receive information differently, but I do find the comments to be interesting. But let's not forget, let's toast to the fact that we are at 4K subscribers to our YouTube. And so I'm really excited about that. Also, just a reminder that we are going to be coming to a season end soon. I'm trying to find out a way to end with a bang, but I may not. It just may be a regular episode. But I'm really, really excited about just the new followers, the new people, the new voices, the new things that are coming. It's just a new baby, all of that. I'm so excited. By the way, I don't know, my excitement is growing. I'm trying to temper my excitement. We're at the halfway point, y'all. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm about to be I'm somebody's father. And like, Alan's getting excited. We're both getting excited. Our loved ones, friends and family are getting excited. I'm getting teary eyed, but just thinking about it, it's crazy. It's crazy. So we're going to Colombia actually. And so I'll have a chance to chill with the surrogate, hang out, relax. So man, and I'm glad that y'all been here with me on this journey. This has been some shit. We done experienced death, life, a potential life coming, the life that will come. Okay. All right. Let me stop sitting in my feelings being a Cancer. But no, I'm really, really happy about just being on this journey with you, being able to chat with you, being able to open up with you. And I look forward to you continuing to do the same with me. So feel free to continue to follow, share this information, share this podcast out with the people who need it. And we'll go from there. So I'll be in Colombia and maybe I'll try to chime in while I'm there. But until then, y'all, I'm out.